and he thought that you, the main young actors would be involved with probably the first 4 films.
Yeah.
And then it would be recast.
Sure.
Yeah, but thank goodness they weren't.
Well,
it
yeah.
was wonderful, yeah.
Well,
for fans as well as for, yes, you guys working.
Sure.
Because, you know, it's so great, such a generation of kids got to grow up with you, you know, with reading the book as well as seeing you on film. But
Yeah.
I just thought I wanted to verify that. I thought that was an odd thing because, well, I can see, you know, there's a lot of child actors, you know, they have horror stories later on.
Sure.
But you guys were, I think,
Yeah.
kept on the straight and narrow.
Yeah, and I think Chris, you know, Chris obviously worked with Macaulay Culkin on the first Home Alone and Home Alone 2, and I think he, I don't think he was worried about anything like that. I think he was just wanting to get some decent actors in at some point. Luckily, I think half of it as well was the fact that it took longer to do films when we first started. And there was the worry that, you know, the books were coming out quicker than the films could turn them around. So that by the time the 4th or 5th one came around, we'd be growing beards and speaking. Luckily, we're all pretty childlike anyway. Daniel still looks about 6'8". Lagging low 20s. Yeah, we're a pretty young looking bunch, I think. Luckily for us.
Rather funny. So let's see. Something I wondered this, and I did some research on the internet, so I know that I learned the truth. Regarding, I was curious how many actors were in all 8 films, and you are one of maybe 12, I think it was, who were in all 8.
Probably all the kids. Yeah, I think all the.
Yes.
Not most of them. Yeah.
The Holy Trinity.
Yeah.
And you, right, and then Neville. Ginny, Fred, and George, which like 7, and then Hagrid was 8.
Obviously,
so then maybe 3 or 4 more or something.
Right,
it was kind of cool though that you were in all 8. That's a neat thing.
I didn't think about it like that. Yeah, that is a pretty. That's a pretty cool thing.
I know I'm sure you have a million questions out there, but one thing I wanted to bring up. Oh, by the way, excellent job in Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Oh, I'm glad you know.
Tremendous. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
one of the highlights for
I'm
me,
really
really.
thrilled to see. It's really nice to hear. I've had that a few times this weekend, and I really appreciate it. I was very proud to be part of that, and I thought it was a really kick-ass film.
Well done film.
Yeah,
Yes,
it was,
sure.
wasn't it? I think a lot of people were kind of cringing, fearing the
Here's
worst
another
of that.
revamp or reboot
Yeah,
or
and
reboot.
the title doesn't really sell it too well. It was a bit of a mouthful, I thought. But yeah, I was really pleased with the outcome, and I think they're doing another one as we speak. So
yes, that's right.
It shouldn't be too long before another one is gracing our screen.
Couple other things. One thing I'm excited about, I mentioned it to you earlier, now I have the title, I've written it down, Ghosts of the Pacific.
Yes.
That sounds intriguing. A true story. You want to tell us about that, please?
Sure. The long and short of it is it's a true story set in World War II about 3 pilots who crash landed in their aeroplane in the middle of the Pacific. And they lasted, they survived for 42 days on a raft maybe half the size of this table, so about this big, with 3 6-foot-ish men in there. And the film is that throughout the entire instance. There's no scene cuts to land, or it's just watching these 3 men waste away. Really, it's kind of has that 137 hours excruciating sort of pain to it. I haven't actually seen it yet, but it was a lot of fun shooting with Garrett Dillahunt from people known from Raising Hope mainly, and a very nice guy called Jake Abel who just did the host movies, I think it was, a couple of years ago. So yeah, it's a pretty cool team. We had to lose a bunch of weight, which was not much fun. Strict diets, just apples and coffee, which was, again, not a lot of fun. It sounds a lot better when you say yeah to the film, and then you're actually there in the middle of Mexico eating nothing and kind of stuff. But it was good, because the last week of filming we were allowed to put weight back on, so we gorged on cheeseburgers and donuts. So yeah, that was a fun part of the film.
Royal Air Force, was it? Was it British?
No, it was American.
American?
Yeah, it was American. So I play a young chap from Ohio.
Oh, yeah,
Which was fun, from Youngstown, Ohio. I enjoyed that.
One other thing before I turn to the audience and others. I didn't realize this until I was doing some research. But you're very musically inclined. You sang in choir. I know choir is such a big thing over in Britain, in Britain, and So as a kid, you were in children's choir, and then but you sing now, and
Yeah,
you've
yeah.
done some musical stuff.
I mean,
with
always
songs.
musically inclined. I
Yeah.
think I've always enjoyed musicals on at the theatre, and yeah, I don't really go anywhere without my guitar. Not that I play it every night or anything. I just like to have it near me. It's very comforting, and yeah, I enjoy the musical realm. I like any sort of creative art, whether it's writing or painting. Not that I'm any good at either of those, but I certainly have appreciation for them. And music's been one that seems to follow me around through various different genres, different instruments. It's just nice. It's nice to be able to have it close. I find it very comforting to be able to. If I don't have it next to me, then that's always the time where I think, oh, I have a song in my head that I want to try and write, or something. Something tickles me. So yeah, I always try and keep it close.
Thanks. Yeah. Alrighty, that's it. Did you want to pick up a couple things?
Sure, yeah. Hi everyone, Kat from MuggleNet. So we took a couple, we sent out some stuff on Twitter and asked
great.
some fan questions. So recently
Twitter seems to be the greatest source of wacky fan questions. My experience, anyway.
These aren't so bad though.
Okay, I appreciate
So
that.
recently the 12th anniversary of the Philosopher's Stone premiere just passed.
Wow.
And I wanted to ask you about, if you remember that first, and what do you remember from that? What
Yes.
memories do you have?
I vividly remember it. My strong memory of it is having a suit which I thought was really nice at the time, hugely oversized, and being in the car on the way there with my grandparents and my parents, and my grandpa insisting that I tuck my shirt in, and me insisting even more so that no, people don't tuck their shirt in anymore. It's the trend to wear a full suit but leave your shirt. And he sort of groaned and didn't do anything about it, and now 12 years on, I look back and cringe at these horrible pictures. A huge suit drenched over me with a shirt hanging down to my knees. So yeah, as much as I thought it was cool at the time, that's my overwhelming memory. That it was a lot of fun, and we enjoyed the. My brother fell asleep in the movie, so I'm not sure if that was a sign of a raging thumbs up. But yeah, it was a fun night for sure.
And a lot of people also wanted to know, you're one of the only cast members we haven't heard from about Fantastic Beasts and the new screenplay that Joe is writing.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I'm very excited. I know nothing, I know little about it. In fact, I think I accidentally sent a tweet about a week before the news came out, saying, "Oh, wait for the 8th book or wait for the 9th film" to someone, purely joking. And then she released this information, so now it looks like I'm some sort of insider. Knows all the ins and outs of what's going to happen, and I can assure you, unfortunately, I don't. I just think it's great that Joe's going back to writing what so many millions of people across the world want to read. And I think Warner Brothers have signed up to do films of it as well. I think from the last thing I heard, which is great to know that relationship between David Heyman, who produced all of the Harry Potter films, and Joe is going to continue, and I'm sure there'll be some great films to come. Unfortunately, I don't, as I know, Draco's not featuring in any of them. I'm still working on that. I'm sending us an mail and trying to flashback,
A lot of people are really hoping that Alfonso is going to direct it. Who would you pick out of all the Potter directors?
I really couldn't. They all have their own merits and styles, and they've all brought so much to all the films. Alfonso really grew the whole franchise up. I think Chris was great at working with children, and children kind of turned into teenagers when Alfonso stepped in. I'm a big fan of David Yates, the guy who directed the last 4, I think it was, maybe 3, yeah, 4. He's fantastic with that world, and he knows it like the back of his hand. So, fingers crossed they'll give him another crack at the whip.
One last question.
Sure.
Everyone wants to know who you still keep in touch with from the cast.
Yeah, I mean, literally none of them. They all hate each other. It's a really nice dynamic because we don't stay in touch that much, and we don't constantly email each other or phone each other, but we always seem to bump into each other either at these things or when they're releasing a new DVD or a new theme park or whatever it is. So it's nice because every year they kind of get these sort of forced reunions where we don't expect to see each other, but we do. In fact, I played golf a few weeks ago with Ollie Phelps, who is one of the Weasley twins. Yeah, which one I always forget. Don't judge me on that. Yeah, so it's really nice. It's a very family. It sounds like a cliche, but we don't stay in touch that often. And when we see each other, we all sort of flip back into place. So it's very nice.
Thanks, yeah, let's take some
Thanks
audience
for your
questions.
thanks for your questions and your support from other net. We're a big
Yeah, those are
Always.
once again, Muddle Net.
That's how I know what's going on in the weekly world. So yeah,
That's good to know.
it's definitely a good source.
So yes, sir.
Tom, I apologize for asking this. You may be quite tired from everything you've done today, but from previous experience in this room, I know that from about the 7th row back, everybody's going to have a really hard time
Sure.
seeing you. Do you have the energy to stand up to answer some questions?
Energy, I just feel really awkward standing up. I'm happy to do so. Yeah. As long as it doesn't feel too awkward for you. High back, 4 rows. Good call, sir. Good call.
Let's two more questions. Yes, in the yellow.
Was that your question?
My question is, I know you were in Slytherin, but if you yourself would have picked which house would you have chosen?
It's a boring answer, Slytherin. It's not that I'm a bad person, but I like a bit of room for breathing.
Not so rigid.
Exactly, and if I felt like skipping class that day, then I'm gonna get away with it if I'm in Slytherin. So yeah, hate to say it, but
Thank you.
no worries.
Right here in front.
Hi.
Hey.
So I know you worked with Mark Williams Barlow.
Yeah,
How was that working with him later on as being Mr. Weasley?
fantastic. Yeah, great. In fact, Mark Williams and Jim Broadbent played my dad, who ended up playing Slughorn. So it was.
That's right.
Yeah, and that was 10 years later, and I didn't expect him for a second to remember me, but he called me Pea Green straight away, which was quite warming. I got a lot of time for Mark as well. He's someone who always knows how to have a good time. He's a joker through and through. He is almost Arthur Weasley, where he's a very sweet, endearing man, but also hilarious, whether he means to be or not. So it's nice to see him again.
Let's see. Purple sweatshirt.
What was it like to grow up in the world?
It's a bit bizarre, really. I'm sure if I had a chance to step away from it and look back, I'm sure in years to come it will become easier for me to answer that. But it feels a bit like, to me, like it was my school years. How old are you?
13.
13. All right. Well, you've probably got it yet to come. But from now to the time you leave school, it kind of feels like that, where it was all, pretty good times. You never really appreciate how lucky you are, I think, when you're in a situation like that, as you are, 13-year-old at school. You just kind of get on with it and realize when you're in your 20s that, wow, actually that was probably the best time of my life. And actually, it only, when we were shooting the movies, we knew we were very lucky and we appreciated it, but we didn't really know quite the reach that we were having around the world. It's only now, even, 12 years on from the first film, that I get to come here and see. Clearly, some people in this area enjoyed the movies. It's great, because we wouldn't have made them all if it wasn't for people. We only set up to make one film. A lot of people think we were destined to make all 8 from the start. That wasn't the case. It was only because of the amount of support that we had that we did. So, looking back at it now, I feel even luckier than we did at the time, I think.
Okay, thanks.
No worries, man.
Yes.
Hi. I just was curious about what your favorite movie was to do, and in that movie, what was your favorite scene?
Yeah, again, it's one of those questions, a bit like what was your favourite year at school? They all have so many great, if I had to pick one, the first and second were the two obvious ones to me. Chris Columbus was such a good director with children. You never really felt like you were working. There's a myth maybe that some film sets are very regimented and very sort of hard-working, and a lot of them are, but if Chris Columbus is directing, then it all feels like a bit of fun. And in the second film, we did the dueling sequence, which was on a table as wide as this, but as long as the... And that was great, because we there were hundreds of kids, we got to fight each other on there, and they stuck a wire on me and lifted me into the sky. I felt very cool. That was about as cool as the days on Harry Potter filming got, because although the Quidditch looked fun on the, it wasn't so good at the time, being strapped to a metal pole. But yeah, so those are definitely some of my best memories on the first two films.
Thank you.
No worries.
All right, let's see, Death Eater.
Tom, now that you're in Los Angeles, how have you been balancing your professional life as an actor versus running a record label?
I mean, I'm in Los Angeles because I start work on a TV show next February, and we wanted to get some time to kind of acclimatize to to the weather and the way of life and finding a place to live and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm not really too fussed about juggling anything right now. I'm quite happy to focus on the acting work and what I'm doing. We went to Toronto Film Festival last year to look at a couple of films that we did last year, and they came out hopefully pretty well. So fingers crossed there'll be some more sort of promotional work on that. It's kind of hard because a lot of people say, "What's your next thing coming out?" And I don't ever know until it seems to be a week before the release of it. Cause, amazingly, we're very out of the loop as actors. We kind of get told what and when, and that's it. So. Yeah, I still enjoy the music, and it's something that I still have there, but it's not something that I'm, predominantly focusing on over acting right now.
Good luck with it.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
The gentleman with the black hat.
What inspired you to be an actor? Was it a certain actor or movie experience to the movie?
Nothing specifically. Yeah, I always enjoyed film as a child. I enjoyed theatre. I used to go and watch my eldest brother used to do a lot of amateur theatre, so I used to go and watch him. Used to love imitating, like Jim Carrey was my favourite. I remember vividly as a child doing some sort of Jim Carrey impression. I guess it's those kind of mimicking skills or things that I did it because I really, really enjoyed doing it, I guess. And I used to go to after-school drama classes just for fun with no intention of ever doing anything. And very luckily in the right place at the right time. A lot of kids ask me about, how did I get the role, or how did I got great parents, especially my mum, and I was very lucky. I was in the right place at the right time, so no worries.
See, over here, it's the huddle against the wall.
Have you been to the Harry Potter theme park at Universal?
Yeah, I have. The one in Orlando? Yeah, I have. In fact, I just heard exciting news a couple of days ago that hopefully I'm going to go down there in January to help open the second stage, because they're expanding the theme park considerably. I think they're building Hogsmeade, I think they're building... Thank you. Really fast, yeah. Nocturne Alley, I think, is coming up. So yeah, looking forward to that. I think it's a really cool... One thing that's just hard to imagine is, there is no real building of Hogwarts where we filmed it. All of the exterior stuff was pretty much computers. We only ever had the rooms. So it's amazing to go to Orlando and actually see the whole thing stitched together and actually be able to go from one room to the next. So yeah, I recommend it to anyone who's a fan of the book. That's about as real as it's ever going to be, I think.
Princess.
Hi. Okay, so I have to bring it up. So originally being from the UK,
Sure.
and today being the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who,
Yes.
do you have a favorite Doctor?
I'm a big fan of Matt, to be honest.
Me
with you.
too.
But I'm a new, like, I'm not a, although it's been a part of my life forever. I remember my dad showing it to me when I was a little child. I'm only a recent sort of fan, so it's. I think I started maybe some of the late David Tennant episodes, and now and Matt's a good friend of mine as well. I've had the pleasure of saying hello a few times, and we have the same agent back in England, and he's a very very nice guy and a great actor, I think. So
He seems like a really nice guy.
he is. Serious. He is. Yeah, I definitely won't say anything other than that.
Yes.
If you were to remake the Harry Potter movies and you were to choose which character you would be, who would you pick?
I mean, I'm pretty biased towards the Malfoys. It's not going to be Luna or Hagrid or anything like that. I like the idea. Actually, I don't like the idea of them remaking the films. But if they did remake them in 20 odd years, I would love to come back as Lucius or as Voldy. There he is at the back of the room. It would be quite fun to come back as the noseless beast.
So, I'm sure you've been asked this plenty of times in
Didn't it?
panels. Would you be willing to say my father would hear about this for us?
Absolutely not. My father will hear about this. I had someone earlier ask me to Draco frown at them. I have too much of a good time with these things to be frowning. Second, so I'm afraid you won't see that one this weekend either.
Green Lantern.
I was in the hallway earlier and I came across a young woman who seemed to be having a panic attack. She was having trouble breathing, she was crying. I asked her what happened, and she said, "I just met Tom Felton." How would you explain your appeal?
Well, I'm not that bad. I'm sure I didn't send him into a fit on purpose.